Game Professor podcast, where the students have taken over. We profess our love and hate for all things video games. This week, we're going to get into some NVIDIA GPU production issues, some industry sales numbers as a whole, some old CPUs being worth more than new CPUs, and a particularly interesting RMA denial, some art lawsuits coming to an end, a Monster Hunter Wilds update that Haru absolutely loves and thinks it's just the best ever, a Final Fantasy Switch port that actually looks good, and then on top of him loving the update, he'll also ramble on a little bit about the Econ Tower after putting 50 hours into it, absolutely loving it, and then uninstalling it for reasons. But we'll get into all that later. First, I just want to say that we are recording this early, as it would have been Christmas Eve normally when we record, so we're doing this a few days early in case we miss any big news stuff for the next few days. And initially, I just want to kind of get into an interesting little story about Peak, which I know Haru absolutely loved. After climbing to the top, the Peak developer Aggro Crab clapped back at a smart-ass commentator as he pegged him in the face with a coconut. After the commentator put in a comment about the new BBNO money concert that took place in game, stating that it's the world's first 100% AI created game. And the CEO responded with, "We might be slop, but we're human made, locally sourced, artisanal slop. Motherfucker."
Aggro Crab never disappoints.
I do appreciate this because there are some articles that I didn't get to add because there was too much this week that we might we probably won't talk about it next week, but we'll probably talk about it at the start of the year about some Game Award issues with AI stuff. And so it was nice just for someone to be like, yeah, I don't care. I made my game. It's a fun game. STFU.
Yeah. Pretty much, like, it took off. Like, if you don't like it, don't play it. I don't know what to tell you.
So, just a little bit of a refreshing piece in there, which is fun. But getting into our actual announcements for this week, Steam is ending 32-bit support and shifting to specifically 64-bit only. This will be the last month that they will be giving out updates for 32-bit operating systems. Now, to be clear here, that is 0.01% of their user base. So this is not like they're ending support for something that still has 20% adoption, just not used that much anymore, and economies of scale, right? Why are you putting in all of this effort for something like this when almost nobody uses it?
Mm-hmm.
It'll still be functional, but it will just no more support for that. So if you are one of those very few people that's on 32-bit Steam, maybe it's time to upgrade.
It was time, like, 5 years ago. Like, real talk.
I would argue it was time 10 years ago, and then it was absolutely time 5 years ago.
And now you're late.
Yeah, you're definitely late. So, yeah, get off that 32-bit system. Get on board with the rest of us, all right? All right, moving into a couple pieces of Nintendo news. Nintendo actually wants Monolith Soft to make a unique Zelda game. So, Daiki Iwanamoto is how I'm going to pronounce that. Apologies if I got it wrong. Is the Zelda GM who publicly stated a desire for Monolith Soft. And if I forget the soft at some point, I'm sorry, because I know Monolith is another studio. To take the central role in creating a, quote, unique title in the Zelda series. The full quote is, "Monolith Soft is a strong partner when it comes to developing Zelda games from scratch, and more I would like to see them take on a central role in production," end quote. I find this super interesting that Nintendo has so much trust in this group that they are actually letting go of the reins. When have you ever heard that from Nintendo?
I mean, actually never. And it makes me wonder, does Nintendo own, like, stock in Monolith games? for
I
Monolith Soft?
well, Nintendo did acquire 100% ownership of Monolith Soft in December of 2024.
Well, there's your freaking answer. Like, they're not handing off their reins. They're just saying, "Hey, do this."
I mean, it is a company that's only been under their umbrella for a year, but
Sure.
they have. So this is a part of a 15-year collaboration. They've basically
Yeah.
assisted on almost every Zelda title for the last 15 years. So I yeah, they purchased them, but the reason they bought them is because they trusted them. So I do find this interesting though still. Yes, it's internal now, but essentially for all intent and purposes, this is not a homegrown Nintendo internal studio. It's something that they've acquired, and they're handing over the reins of one of their biggest franchises to them.
Yep.
So I I I I think it speaks volumes for the people that work at that company is basically how I'm gonna say that. So I
That's fair.
look forward to a unique Zelda project. Mainly because I played Zelda Wisdom of Echoes this year, which we'll probably talk about more next week with the Game of the Year stuff, and I thoroughly enjoyed that game, and that was a little bit more of a unique take on a Zelda game.
Hmm.
So anything that kind of changes up the formula a little bit that's good still has to be good.
Right.
I do look forward to giving it a go.
I would
The
like to mention one thing here. Technically, Nintendo has owned 80% of Monolith Soft's company since 2007. They just bought the rest in 2024.
still outside company, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as close as we're gonna get with Nintendo, to be fair.
You're not wrong.
It's fair point though. But hey, they do a good job clearly, so we'll see what they do with it. Second piece of Nintendo Switch news. It's being hit by the RAM pricing surge that everything is being hit by, because we have a couple pieces of news to actually get into about that. So Nintendo is facing a significant cost increase on the Nintendo Switch 2 production due to the shortage that we've talked about multiple times. We don't need to get into again. The 12 gig RAM module cost for Nintendo increased approximately 41% in Q4 of this year, and the NAND storage became 8% more expensive. Now, obviously, this is driven by the AI stuff that we've talked about. So, what has resulted is that Nintendo's price shares dropped by 9.8% this week, which is a $14 billion loss in market capitalization.
Jeez.
Yep. So,
I mean, everybody loses.
everybody. Yeah.
Like, literally everybody loses, including the AI companies. Like, they're still losing.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if they're making money, are they losing? Or if they're getting investment, let's say.
Yeah, exactly.
Losing?
That's exactly the problem. I'm just waiting for that bubble to pop, and it's gonna be freaking hilarious. I can't wait.
We'll see what happens. I'm gonna hint at this a little earlier, just because again we don't have enough time. There is an interesting piece about a particular company buying a huge production run of all the RAM wafers. So we'll probably get into that a couple weeks from now. But yeah, it's obnoxious. It's annoying. It's even affecting Nintendo. And that's it's not going away anytime soon unless something magical happens in that bubble burst.
Pretty much.
That's all we got for the intro. Let's get in to business and econ. All right, as always, in over our heads with some of the business and econ numbers, but we're still going to go through them anyways. Continuing the discussion about RAM shortages, because I'm sure we'll be talking about that for the next 2 years period. NVIDIA has announced that the RTX 50 series production will be cut in half. Which it's definitely kind of a big thing when you're talking about your major flagship consumer side product. And the rest of us are going to feel that. So specifically, I obviously used a little bit of hyperbole in half, but you're looking at approximately 40% production reduction in the first half of 2026, which is a significant cut. And it's because of that global shortage in high-speed memory RAM. And it's going to be the mid to high tier volume sellers, specifically the 5070 Ti and 5060 Ti models, which is basically the most popular tier, especially for the 1440p kind of mid-range gaming market. I know that's where most of the cards are, is that 5070 Ti and kind of lower to 5060 cards. So that's going to affect most people, which is sad.
I mean, the crazy part about this, right, is that NVIDIA boasted for the longest time that they were the best graphics card manufacturer out there, right?
Uh-huh.
But the problem is that you can no longer boast that if you just leave the market, which is probably what they're going to do at some point. They're probably going to fully transition into AI at some point, right? And then it'll probably just be Intel and AMD.
Yeah. I mean, which is a bummer.
It is.
Because AMD, I mean, look, they could start doing new stuff, but AMD doesn't make any high-end cards.
Nope.
And Intel is just trying to exist in the market in a usable capacity.
Yes.
So,
They're trying to target that low, like 50-60, 40-60 realm, right?
Sure.
They're trying to target that extremely low realm of people who rarely upgrade.
Which is fine, but they're still struggling with updates and stability.
Yes.
I'm not cheering for their loss. I would love for them to be competitive in the market. I always talk about competition. But the fact of the matter is if Nvidia just leaves right now, the biggest people that suffer are gamers.
Yeah.
Just period. Yes, you may not like Nvidia, but them just vacating the market isn't good for competition, isn't good for availability of products. And
Nope.
as we've already seen with other AMD products, AMD is not going to be cheap. So if Nvidia leaves and AMD takes over the high-end gaming market, it's not like they're going to go, "Hey, we love you guys, here's cheap stuff," because they already have raised prices on all their CPUs when they became competitive. So,
Yep.
yeah, everyone loses except for Nvidia because they'll be making money on the AI side, which is a bummer for the rest of us.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I mean, what are we gonna do? Everybody and their brother wants AI,
Yeah.
regardless of its unproven usage in any field.
I mean, I like it for grunt work.
Yeah. Yeah, that is its current proven usage. But even then, even using it for grunt work, oftentimes you still have to go back and check it.
Oh yeah. So if anyone wants a little bit of behind the scenes, it's literally just the two of us, right? So, one of the things that I do is I collect potential news articles throughout the week, and then I have AI help me do the grunt work and pull in information and sources. And just as Harry said, I'll go over them, and we have an article later in the episode where we talk about a Final Fantasy port for the Switch, and it totally was picked out the wrong game. Just flat out. It was like, this is about Final Fantasy X or whatever. And I had to tell it like, no, it's not. This is 100% wrong.
Oh, geez.
Do it again. And then when it failed again, I had to go like find actual information and provide it to give it. And at that point, that particular instance kind of was a little long in the tooth, unfortunately. But yeah, to your point, you have to go double check that stuff. You cannot take it as gospel. It will be wrong.
Yep, 100%. And it's even worse in the coding realm, because you ask someone or you ask AI to code something for you, and sure, maybe it's functional baseline, but now if you go in and you tell AI, and they're never going to be able to code something extremely large, right? They're never going to be able to code a full-blown application.
Sure.
But then if you want to go in and ask the AI, hey, modify this one very specific thing, it's just not going to. It's not going to succeed, and it's probably just going to break your entire code base.
I was gonna say, make it worse.
Yeah, exactly. So what ends up ultimately happening is that somebody else, right, in this case AI, created an application or some kind of code base for you, and now you stare at it and you go, I need to now stare at this for 8 hours and figure out what the hell and how the hell it is written.
And what's actually broken.
Exactly.
So, all right, so wait, hold on. Are you telling me that all the recent Microsoft update issues might be caused by them injecting more AI into their coding?
Yes.
Shocked! I'm so shocked!
I don't know about you, but like turning off Cortana is like the first thing I fucking do.
Oh, absolutely. Like, look, I want to use AI to get rid of my grunt work, but like when I'm ready to use it. It doesn't need to be going 100% of the time. Yep. So yeah, like I've turned off like Copilot on startup and all that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah. Oh god, it is Copilot now, not Cortana, huh?
Yeah.
Holy crap! That's how long it's been turned off.
Yeah. Well, plus Microsoft abandoning the Xbox brand. So, but anyways, we'll get into that later. Speaking of how that's going to affect gamers, as we were just talking about NVIDIA cutting production, PC just kind of caught up to console revenue. And now everything is more expensive, and it's all falling down, and the house of cards is burning. So, gaming market share hit about $197 billion over this last annual period, which is an increase of 7.5%. With mobile being 108 billion of that. All those gacha games we mentioned the other week. Consoles were 45 billion and PCs were 43 billion. So for all those people, when we talk about sales numbers, are like, it doesn't matter, the game's bigger on console anyways. Well, okay, sure, the game's bigger on 50% of the market. Have fun.
Yep.
Oh,
pretty much.
Man.
I mean, I think mobile honestly primarily wins from its accessibility.
Oh, sure. Plus, a lot of those games are gacha focused, right?
That and like, look, are we really gonna sit here and call Angry Birds? Are we going to equate Angry Birds with something as complex as Call of Duty? No. Right?
As much as I am not enjoying ridiculous. Call of Duty lately, yeah, it's way more of a
to equate them to being equivalent is ridiculous. Has Angry Birds made more money than Call of Duty? Probably.
I don't know. That would be an interesting thing to find out. I'm actually curious now.
I am too. But like of Activision Blizzard King, which now Microsoft owns, King was always its highest revenue generator, which is their mobile development studio.
Yeah.
Right? Blizzard primarily makes, World of Warcraft, Diablo 2. Diablo. They haven't made a StarCraft in, I think, 2 decades or some shit like that now.
Yeah. God, yeah. That's also, the one game that they made the 2 decades prior, too. So.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, even Activision couldn't compete with King at all, ever. And I want to say, like, King doubled Activision and Blizzard's revenue in general.
So, you did pick the biggest franchise for lifetime. So, Call of Duty has generated $35 billion in lifetime revenue. Angry Birds, which is no slouch, is significantly lower, but still at $9.5 billion.
Yeah.
So basically, if you got rid of Call of Duty and picked almost any other franchise, you'd be right.
Right. Sorry, let me go with Candy Crush instead, because I almost guarantee Candy Crush has probably blown Call of Duty out of the water.
That's potentially true. But to your point, yeah, it's just a lot more. It's just a lot easier to generate revenue kind of on that platform because of what it is and how it works.
Yeah, consistently earns over $1 billion annually. As of 2023, $20 billion lifetime.
Well, still less than Call of Duty.
It is still less than Call of Duty, but Call of Duty has also existed since longer than mobile phones have been around. So, I don't actually know how true that is.
I was gonna say, are we including those big, giant, old school brick
Oh,
phones? Because that
God.
might not be
Sorry.
true.
Smartphones.
Okay, fine. That's true. Fact checked. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. I
Oh
know I'm
man.
right because I know that smartphones didn't exist when Halo Reach was around. So,
Well, what do you consider a smartphone? Is BlackBerry a smartphone? That was pretty
oh,
smart.
God.
Anyways, uh, PC was the highest year-over-year growth at 10.4%. I'll be interested to see what happens over the next year with the with the memory apocalypse going on,
Mm-hmm.
and if that segment will continue to grow. I would have to imagine if it is this based off of hardware sales, software sales, or both,
Or
because
usage.
or usage. I don't know. So if the majority of this isn't hardware sales, then I could see it not being too heavily affected. Because plenty of gamers will be like, yeah, I'll wait a couple years or whatever, and I'll still
Right.
play, some new stuff. But if hardware heavily factors in here, yeah, I would imagine a lot of people are not going to buy stuff over the next year.
Yeah,
So
I would guess that $45 billion worth of hardware consoles probably did not sell in the year of 2025.
sure, I mean it's got to
Uh,
be a combination of things, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So there has to be a software combo in there somewhere.
But are they really taking into account a $2,700 5090? Like, is that factoring in here? I just don't know.
It probably should.
I mean, well, because are all those used for gaming though?
True.
So like that's why I'm like I don't know what is exactly factored in here.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows?
But so I'll be interested to see what happens for PC gaming over the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Look, one thing to note before we move on. This is why Sony is releasing stuff on PC though. We've already got over those numbers, but this is
Yep.
exactly why. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, like
alrighty.
they're in parity. That's why Capcom started doing it. Like
Yeah, it's
they
100%.
saw how much Monster Hunter World sold on PC and they were like, "Oh, we can't really leave that market alone anymore."
Yep. And if we put it
So,
on there, it doesn't really affect our console sales, which is true. I almost every PC gamer I know isn't going, "Oh yeah, wait, I can get it on PC." Well, I was a big PlayStation gamer, so I'm gonna wait to play it. No, PC gamers are usually primarily PC gamers. Everything else is secondary.
yeah.
Anyways, getting into some specific console numbers. The definitely hardware sales portion of it did heavily decline with a 27% year over year decline overall, which is quite staggering. It's the lowest sales since November of 2005.
Wow.
1.6 million hardware units were sold in the US, which again is very low, and that goes back to 1995. We're getting into kind of some crazy numbers here. And the best-selling console was the PlayStation, and this is worldwide. 3.5 million or 3.59 million. Uh, and the Nintendo Switch ended up hitting Nintendo Switch slash Switch 2 ended up hitting 1.81 million units worldwide. And the third selling console, the next Playground that we talked about, hit 300,000.
Oh man.
And coming in further down the line with a 70% drop year over year, the Microsoft family of consoles at 224,404, because there is definitely some errors going on in that segment of the community.
Oh man.
Like, dude, I don't. So, my friend texted me and he's like, hey, should I buy Outer Worlds on PC or Xbox? And I said, well, I can't guarantee you that Xbox is going to exist long term. So it depends on if you just care about playing it now on your console in front of your TV, or if you're ever going to go back to it. Because I can guarantee you, as much as I can guarantee anything, that Steam
Right.
is definitely going to be around. I'm way more confident than Xbox at this point.
Oh
So,
yeah, 100%. Especially with like the Steam OS, the Steam Box, the Steam Deck, all
yep.
that stuff.
And Microsoft trying to switch to PC gaming in a memory crisis. I'm,
Yep.
win decision after win decision.
Pretty much.
But okay, one last piece here in business and econ, which is absolutely insane to me, is that 5800 X3Ds are going for more than 9800 X3Ds.
Stupid. This is the equivalent of people not looking for like a newer car that could potentially sell for, or you purchase it for less, all because a specific year model was amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, also just looking for deals. Right?
Yeah.
Like, go find deals for stuff so that it makes more sense. Now, the reason we're talking about this type of stuff is obviously everything's tied to the memory apocalypse. So the 5800 X3D was the last AM4 platform
Yeah.
chip, so it runs off of DDR4 instead of 5.
Yep.
So it's jumping up in price. You're looking at potentially at $500 to $800, whereas the 9800 X3D is usually $480. And I personally just picked up one for $400 on Black Friday. So I
Yep.
don't know what's going on here.
Yeah,
I had to turn around and sell a bunch of stuff so I could afford it, but but I did it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I'm simply just glad that I upgraded to AM5. Like, God, what was that? 6 months ago or more? Whenever the 9700 XT came out.
Yeah, it's you made the correct choice.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, AM5 should still be used for another couple of cycles. So, like, if you wanted to get the last AM5 chip that comes out in, let's say, 27, 28, and, upgrade to that last generation of chip so that you can exist for a while,
Yep.
you're pretty much golden for a while.
Well, that's exactly what I did with AM4. I had a 5800X for a really long time. It wasn't an X3D, but, like,
yeah,
it did the job.
I mean, that's what I was at, a 5900X.
Yeah, exactly. But I find it ridiculous that those 5800 X3Ds are going for more than the 7800 X3D that I have or that I purchased.
Yeah, well, they're going more than the 9800 X3D.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's nuts just because of how expensive the RAM is. Go find a deal. There have been multiple Newegg deals. Bundling a CPU and RAM, or bundling a motherboard and RAM, or take your pick, so that you don't have to blow the bank. Will you spend a little more? Sure, but you're much better off getting something that is a current platform that you can potentially upgrade than being blocked off with no upgrade path.
Yeah, if you have a Micro Center near you, try and see if they have any bundles around, because like I'm looking at some of the bundles just at my local Micro Center, and they're like, here you go, $500 for a 7700X, 32 gigabytes of DDR5, and a B650 gaming X gigabyte motherboard. Like, that's cheaper than 32 gigabytes of RAM would be.
You're not wrong.
Just saying.
You may as well enjoy those deals while they last, as opposed to going with an AM4 platform CPU. Dude, that's insane to me.
Yeah, it's insane behavior. And here we go. 7800 X3D.
Okay.
B650E-E tough gaming Wi-Fi, Asus.
Okay.
and 32 gigabytes of
Mhm.
G-Skill Flare X5 series DDR5 RAM. $580.
Ah, I mean,
That's
better.
the price of the RAM. There it is.
Yep, you're good. Get it all together and be done.
Like, yeah, sure, you still have to buy an AIO, but if you already had an AIO for your AM4, chances are it's probably still compatible.
Yeah, I know the AIO that I had brackets that I had to use for the AM4.
Yeah.
So I just got to abandon those and just use it natively on AM5. So
Yeah, exactly. Mine, when
And
I
if
upgraded
not-
from AM4.
and if not, guess what? Don't get an AIO. Get a really nice, cheaper air cooler
yeah,
and
you'll be
just
fine.
live with that for a while.
Yeah.
You could always upgrade the cooler later.
There's a very common misconception that air coolers are worse than liquid coolers, and that's just simply not true.
No.
Air coolers have continued in parity with AIOs for a decently long time. And
Especially
the only
if
reason
you're just plugging stuff in and
Yeah,
not doing
exactly.
anything to it.
like the only reason that pretty much every gamer goes with an AIO is because of RGB.
Yep.
Like almost solely. And
Well, yeah,
it also
RGB
generally
slash
accumulates less
general
dust.
aesthetics.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Because having a bulky fan sticking out of the center of your motherboard is definitely not necessarily good looking.
Yep. But instead
Yeah.
of spending the $150 on an AIO, spend the $30 to $40 on an air cooler because that's the money you have now.
Yeah.
Then you know what? Treat yourself in a few years on an AIO. Because the
Yep.
AIOs should not be affected by the memory shortage. So,
Theoretically.
I mean, who knows? But you're right.
Yeah, so when I upgraded from AM4 to AM5, I was previously using an NZXT cooler, right? 360 cooler, and I had to buy the part to upgrade it, quote unquote, from an AM4 to an AM5, but it was like $10. I'm like, okay, I guess, even though all of your current models that you sell of this exact same one come with the AM5 bracket, I guess I'll pay you more money.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate, but as we've been saying, save your money somewhere. Go get that bracket.
Yep, exactly.
Not that hard. And wheel and deal. If there's a bundle where you don't need something out of the bundle, pick up the bundle and then sell the other thing on Facebook Marketplace and get some of your money back. That's
Especially if you don't need the ramp. It'll make all your money back.
Oh my god. I think that's the thing that people need though.
I know. Oh man.
Okay. Well, that's all we got for business and econ. Oh, let's move on to shop class. All right, shop class. Taking a look at some of the tech tools that we use. Specifically, we are looking at an RMA for a Zotac 5070 Ti that was denied. Now, Haru, what are some reasons that an RMA might be denied?
The company sucks.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, that does happen. But what about some of the legit reasons? Right? Like if the PCB's damaged, would that be an acceptable denial, right?
I mean, I would not consider that an acceptable denial. No.
No. Overall, we're not talking about this. Just in general.
Yeah,
right?
I know. Like that's what I'm saying though. Like a PCB damaged, I wouldn't necessarily consider that an RMA denial. If it was, let's say, like some kind of electrical shortage on it, right? Like that shouldn't be a denial. But
I mean, what if it
I'm
was
thinking
cracked,
of
though. What if they put it into their case and wrenched it, right? And they cracked it.
Sure, absolutely. But I think at the end of the day, if we want to go into something that will be like a straight up denial, water damage.
Sure.
Right? There's no reason you should have water anywhere near your GPU.
Nope. And
Right?
if you're water cooling your stuff, that's the risk you take.
Correct. It absolutely is. Now, granted, if you are purchasing from places like Micro Center, Best Buy, Amazon, all of them, they have their own personal like protection policies, and it's just no questions asked tradebacks.
Oh yeah, I straight up, when I water cooled my PC back in 2019, I straight up asked them. I'm like, I'm trying to custom water cool loop this. Like, does that protection cover it? The manager's like, absolutely. You just have to bring back all the parts, right? Like, if you don't bring back the fan chassis, like, we're not going to do that for you. But, like, you know, if
Yeah.
you just bring back everything, even if it has water damage, take care of it. Micro Center is awesome.
Yep. No questions asked. Those are the best kinds of protections. Yeah, no, but like other than that, I would say if if you somehow maybe overclocked it into oblivion,
Sure.
right?
Caused
Instead
it
of
to burn out.
yeah, exactly. Instead of undercurrenting it or undervolting it, you overvolt it for some stupid reason, right? And it fucking catches fire. Yeah, you're probably not getting it back with that one. But like I disagree with PCB damage primarily because it it's so easy to damage.
I disagree with outside of normal use damage. So,
Okay.
because here's the thing, people can throw their computers in their car and travel around, and if you're not properly supporting it, there's a good chance
Yep.
you're gonna break that connection. There's
Man, I
people
just
that
take
get
it
real
out.
aggressive with it, and I that's what I do. I had a PC that I used and would travel with family to do VR, and it was the one thing I took out of the computer.
Yep. Every time.
Yep. All right, because it's not that hard to put back in.
Nope.
But point being is, I think there is PCB damage where you go, that's not normal,
Yeah,
and
sure.
especially if the customer's sending you can't pictures of the card before it's sent, so that the damage clearly wasn't there and it was happened in travel, so it's not their fault type of thing, right? Then I think you can go okay. But the point here that we're getting to is that a customer had a grinding noise on their fans, so potentially ball bearing failure in the fans. And they contact Zotac, and Zotac, okay, ship it to us, which Zotac charged $40 for shipping, which already sucks. And then when it got to Zotac, they didn't necessarily take a look at any of that. They claimed that there was a crack in the PCB near the PCIe connector consistent with external mechanical stress. Now, I've seen these photos. Harrow, did you go take a look at these photos?
I did look at some of them, yes.
Yeah. Uh I external mechanical stress? Like, are you like, I don't understand what they're talking about. None of the damage that I saw looked like someone put in a card and then wrenched it 90 degrees down. Like, it looks like they just put in a card in their computer and maybe, I don't know, something happened or it was part of manufacturing or whatever. It does not look like this customer did anything that would warrant a denial.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought process too. Like the first one that we have here, like first off, I don't really see any damage at all. Maybe a little bit on the bottom, the very bottom of the connector, but I don't even know how the hell you would damage that as a person. Um, and then okay, a little bit of scuffing on the latch part, like whatever. So I know before this, before we started recording, I mentioned that I saw another one of someone being denied an RMA.
Yeah.
And it was 17 days ago. It was an RTX 5090 Astral made by Asus. And they tried to RMA it, and Asus wants $4,661 to repair it because of surface irregularity. The only weird thing on it is like some weird little scratch next to the like latch part. And I'm like,
Ridiculous.
but why?
Yeah, I mean, it's dumb.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely dumb. These companies are at the point of trying anything to not be able to follow
Well,
all of their rules.
and on social media, there were multiple professionals chiming in, and these are people where like you can clearly go see from their LinkedIn their employment is computer repair shops and stuff. So like
Yeah.
people that are actually in the industry that understand what's happening. And all of them reviewed the photos and concluded that like yeah, it's like scratches and scuffs and like surface level wear, but like nothing that would be responsible for the fan problem, which was the problem in the first place.
Right. Exactly.
So like just flat out denying any sort of responsibility for anything is insane.
Yeah, that is insane behavior. I mean, at the end of the day, looking at these pictures, like if his GPU plugs in and boots up, the PCB is not the fucking problem.
Nope.
Like, plain and simple.
Especially not where they were looking at it, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe there's a short somewhere else, but that'll still be your problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like, make me sign something that's like, hey, we did nothing to the PCB. All we did was replace, the fan, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And we're not responsible for anything that happens with the PCB going forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Send it back.
Yeah, exactly.
That wouldn't be ideal, but it would be acceptable, at least.
Yeah, exactly. Like, at least I don't have to find some way of fixing the grinding noise on my GPU. And we're talking about a 3-month-old GPU that clearly was taken care of.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
honestly.
It's not like it was thrown around or anything. Yeah, and it's a bummer about the Asus story too, which comes off the back of like a lot of CPU and MOBO stuff too that they've been terrible at the last few years, which is
Yeah.
man, PC gaming fans really kind of the last 5 years have kind of sucked.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a in large part either a little bit of both, right? Too many cooks in the kitchen and also not enough. Right?
Yeah.
It's like this weird mixture of like there's like what, 5 motherboard manufacturers, if that.
Well, and some of them they have parent companies that are a motherboard
Right.
manufacturer.
Right. It's like the ones that I'm thinking of, you have like Gigabyte, ASRock, Asus.
Yeah, but isn't ASRock owned by Gigabyte if I remember correctly?
I wouldn't doubt it, man.
Hold on, let me keep going. But
Yeah.
I'm sure that is.
But yeah, like just like thinking about all the different motherboards that are out there, there's not a lot of options for picking up a good motherboard. MSI, that's the other one that I was thinking of.
Yeah, well, MSI is Gigabyte. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So
EVGA is out of the game. That was a good one that I love.
Yep, exactly. So it's kind of a weird scenario where you have like not quite 5, and all of their motherboards are like identically priced across the realm, right? So it's kind of one of those things where you're sitting here like,
sorry, Asus. ASRock is owned by Pegatron, which is part of the Asus group.
Ah, sick. Yeah, it's just dumb.
Yep. Yeah, it's annoying. It's obnoxious. The illusion of choice is what's there.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm kind of sick of this, honestly. Like, if you have a sub company that is in the same market as one of your other sub companies, you should be forced to merge them.
Yeah, just make it a brand instead of a company, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the ASRock line of hardware.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's dumb. And that's why I say, like, too many cooks, but also not enough. Too many cooks because a lot of the, like, compatibility issues that oftentimes crop up between, like, a Gigabyte motherboard and, like, an ASRock GPU, right? Something stupid like that.
Don't get me started on Gigabyte software, bro.
Right, I know, but that's exactly my point, right? Is that it's one of those things where, like, there's too many cooks because it's not all just consolidated into one, but there's also not enough because there's not enough competition.
There's definitely not.
And I think largely there's not enough competition in the computer market in general because it's such a hard market to even get into. And when you do get into it, what ends up happening? Somebody who's extremely large is like, hey, I'd like to purchase your company. And who's going to say no?
No
Right?
sane person who likes money.
Exactly.
Not unless they're not offering enough money. Then you just ask for more money.
Exactly. Yeah, quite literally. I don't know. It's just, it's super weird. And these companies, they constantly have these really weird problems with like these RMA processes. And I think that's why, Micro Center, Best Buy, and Amazon, and even Newegg, I think, have started coming out with these just other options for no questions asked trade backs.
Yeah, which would be, which is nice from a consumer level, right?
Right. Yeah, it definitely is nice. But it's one of those things where you're like, okay, but like, why do these other companies, meaning the original manufacturers, even have warranties at this point? Because like what it seems like is that it doesn't cover shit.
Probably just so that they say they have it, and I'm sure some legal reason that says they have to
Probably.
support a product or else, lawsuit.
Yep.
But it's dumb. We hate it.
It is.
It needs to get better. This particular instance and yours are awful, and hopefully people can do better. Not holding my hope, but hopefully they can.
We can definitely hope.
All right. With that, we'll move on from shop class and go into civics and sociology. All right. Everybody circle up. Let's take a look at some of the aspects in the gaming community and some of the institutions as well. We're going to start off with Neil Newbin. Is that how you pronounce that?
Sure.
Basically the voice of who was it again?
Asterion.
That's Darian. From Baldur's Gate 3 fame. Definitely one of the fun characters in that game. Basically has come out and said, fuck AI in performance.
And when he says performance, he's specifically meaning like artistic performance.
Sure, but come on. That sounds so fun. Specifically something that we did also complain about, which is the voice acting, especially for the NPC characters that say the same thing over and over again.
Yes.
Being just not good. Specifically kind of referring to them as dull as hell and boring and emotionally flat. Essentially the quote Timu version of the real deal, end quote. Which I don't disagree with any of that. I mean, one of the things we said was that we loved the versatility because, again, long story short, up front they hired voice actors specifically to do a generative AI voice so that they could have contextual things in the game / write lines and have them ready to go quickly, which is all fine and good. But the complaint is for the more longer running stuff or the stuff you prominently hear constantly that's the same over and over again, it just doesn't sound right. And one of the things that he has basically said is he's not even complaining about the use of that AI initially.
Yeah.
One of the things he talks about is how, well, hey, after you've made your money, which you've clearly made your money, why are you not going back and bringing back in those voice actors to actually record these consistent lines to give them some emotion and energy?
I think the argument is probably a valid one, but so there's a term we use in World of Warcraft, and really it comes down to at what cost. And oftentimes it's spoken of in terms of raid tiers, right? Meaning, will this feature that all of us are requesting be able to be introduced and built without having to sacrifice something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the case of like Arc Raiders, if they go back and they spend that money to redo all of these voice lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
And potentially add new ones if they wanted to add more to the game, right?
Sure.
It turns into a consistent extra cost, right? And that cost could be the difference between, you know, us getting 5 new arcs in 1 year or 3, right? Or 2 new maps in 1 year or 1.
So normally I would agree with you. However, I think 2 major points here is that this isn't a small indie game anymore.
Sure.
They've made lots of money. They've
Sure.
had crazy amounts of sales. The profit is there. You're not talking about recording 30,000 lines. You're
Yeah.
talking about paying an actor for a few hours of studio time to record the small amount of consistent lines that you would want them to record, probably mainly for the cutscenes / stores.
Yeah.
Right? So overall, you're not talking a huge cost investment, and you're not talking a small company that can't afford it. The other thing that I think is, the issue that I have here is that it makes sense to do it because you are improving the overall performance. This is one of the biggest glaring things that's obnoxious because it is a line that you hear over and over and over again. It's not a one-off line. I mean, I remembered one of the things, I don't know if I said to you, but one of the things that I said when I saw the trailer for the game after playing the test, or no, it was during that server stress test, was like, gosh, all these cutscenes and lines they sound like AI. Like you could tell that it sounded like AI and that it was AI.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they are at a point where they could afford to do it, and it wouldn't take that much away because you're not talking an RPG 50,000 lines of dialogue that they need to record.
Right. And to be clear, if this was a single player game, right? It was a one-off like story-driven campaign or something like that. I would say absolutely the hell not. You should not go back and do it.
Which just would be too much.
Yeah, it'd be pointless. It would honestly be pointless. But I mean, any extraction PvP shooter kind of has to be a live service game. So to expect anything to not get done is ridiculous, right? Like if they want us to continue paying money, which their primary form of consistent income on this is supposed to be cosmetics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And God hopes it stays that way.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is a lump sum of money. We're talking about something in the realm of $280 million. Right, that this studio has made overall. Obviously, subtract 20% from
I thought
that.
you were about to tell me that it cost $280 million
No.
to re-record the lines.
No. But like,
I was gonna be like, whoa, who are we hiring? God to do these voice lines?
So as of November, right, they hit nearly 7 million in total sales. So the game was what,
Copies
$40?
not money.
Yeah. So with the game being, baseline $40, probably some people buying the deluxe edition, so on and so forth. And that's roughly 280 million. Now you do still have to subtract like 20% from that, so that you can actually get the real number. Because Steam's going to take money from you, PlayStation's going to take money from you, Xbox is going to take money from you, so on and so forth. Right? Anywhere else you happen to put it. My point is, though, is that I don't see this game making a lot of money in the future, right? There's not going to be a lot of additional, like, new player acquisition, right? I just don't really see that happening. Unless they completely revamp everything that they're doing. And the only
I
reason that
mean,
I...
sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
on.
Okay,
Well,
well...
I think
Do
it's the
it.
first time we've truly done that, where we
Yes, true.
kind of got stuck. So I was just gonna say, you're not wrong. However, the game came out in when? October? Like right at the end of October?
Sure.
And 2 months later, they have retained all of their players. So after the initial launch and the problems they had, they hit 354,000 players, right?
Mm-hmm.
As of today, they had 386,000 players.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they had an
So,
all-time peak of 480, but yeah.
well, yeah, I mean, but what other game is, let's say, the all-time peak? Okay, we're gonna go off the all-time peak numbers. Which game has retained 75% of their players 2 months after launch?
Are we talking all-time?
I'll expand it to all time because you could
World
probably
of
rattle
Warcraft.
off a couple games, but like I don't feel like you can rattle off a lot.
No, probably not a lot, but like I would go with probably, World of Tanks, or not World of Tanks, wow. World of
So
Warcraft.
World of Tanks. Okay, I was gonna say World of Tanks, a free to play game, or put free to play
No,
in
no,
here.
no, no. No,
Yeah,
World
but
of
World of
Warcraft.
Warcraft. Yeah, okay, cool. An MMO, got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Which, I mean, I would equate most live service games to be equivalent to MMOs at this point.
I feel like they're too different to fully put them in the same realm.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
understand the goal is very similar between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to hold on to players, right?
But I think the point here is like Call of Duty's struggling. Battlefield was very successful, and even then they're down to like 120-ish thousand
Yep.
players a month currently.
Mm-hmm.
And Arc Raiders is at 386,000. So like yes, they'll lose people and players, but it's not going to go away. I mean, you look at Tarkov, like, which is a more extreme game, way more, even though it's very popular. When I say way more niche, it's just not as appealing to the wider audience. It's
Yeah.
a way more niche game, and that game has held on to players for years. So
True.
I think just making the assumption that Arc Raiders is, suddenly going to not be able to have a player base in the short term,
Well,
mind you,
that's
the next few months, I think they'll still make more money than most people.
yeah, that wasn't really my point. My point was that I don't see a lot of new players coming in, right? Specifically new players. And their cosmetics, sure, they're not bad, but I don't see them generating a ton of income.
Well, I just think that's because we're not buying them, though.
Yeah, that's fair. And like, I mean, I don't tend to be very conservative when it comes to skins, but I guess when it comes to Arc Raiders in particular, I just don't see a reason for the skins, I guess.
Yeah, neither do I, but there's a lot of people that buy them anyways, buy them regardless. I mean, dude, think of how many people were purchasing skins because of freaking streamer wars. And in terms
True.
of new players, I will point out that Arc Raiders is number 2 in top selling games right now.
Hmm.
And that's
All right, fair
behind a free to play Counter-Strike game.
Okay.
So you take
okay.
out free to play games and it is number 1. And it was number 1 last week.
All right. Fair enough.
So my point being is they should choose to improve their game, pay a little bit of money, and increase the voice actors.
Honestly,
Sorry, go on.
so what's really funny about that is that as the shop guys are the most glaringly obvious part, just give me a mute button in the bottom left and I'll be happy. That's all it would take, to be honest. I don't even need you to re-record the lines. Just shut them up.
I mean, that's fair too. I think the point here is that it's not a small indie game. They are a
Right.
studio that
They're
has a
huge now.
very successful game that
Yes.
could afford this small cost in the relative scheme of things. I'm not going to say it's a pittance, like you got to pay people,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so if this was a much smaller game, like let's say this was the finals, their previous game, which was a
Hmm.
successful game, not nearly as big,
No.
then I would go, okay, maybe, right? In that one, like maybe you look at that and you go, okay, it might not be worth it for that instance. But here, I would say just do it. And specifically, before we move on, the quote that he threw out for like artists and performers, that's Neil, is you're robbing that performer of that day's fees. Most actors notoriously are not rich. Most of us struggle, in parentheses, for our entire career. When a game's successful, I don't really get why developers don't go, well, at the time we couldn't afford it, but now we've been super successful. Why don't we go back and redo those lines? That's an option, I'm just saying. As we've already pointed out, depends on the situation. I think it makes sense here, but I can see a realm in which it doesn't. So, who knows? But we're not in charge.
Yeah. And um I guess my really last point on all of this really is going to be the fact that I don't know if you've noticed or not, but um, PC Gamer took down their link,
Oh, did they?
and so did Games Radar. Both of them have taken down their link. GameSpot kept theirs, and Inkle kept theirs, but it is very funny to me that both PC Gamer and Games Radar, arguably the two largest of the ones that we've talked about so far, took down their articles for one reason or another.
Hmm.
That's
If you know what
weird
it
to me.
is, put it in the comments. Let us know why it's happening.
Let us know for sure, because I am curious.
All right, moving on to another interesting happening for company decisions. The two legal disputes for Destiny and Marathon, i.e. Bungie Games, same developer, have finally been settled and come to a close. So a little bit of background knowledge for what this was, and it's not really that hard to comprehend, is that a lot of the Marathon artwork, especially a lot of the early stuff that was put out there, was clearly, in my opinion, and they settled, so at least someone realized it would be a hard-fought fight in court, was clearly ripped off of an artist by the name of Fern Anti-Real Hook, and they actually accused them of, or actually accused Bungie of stealing their 2017 designs without permission for the alpha builds. So someone actually went around in that alpha build and took screenshots, and yeah, I mean, some of the stuff looks straight lifted. So they settled that one, and we'll kind of get a little bit more details for that. The other one, Destiny Red War, famously a DLC that was, or expansion, take your pick on whatever you want to call it, was fully removed from the game. So you couldn't even access that content anymore, which is wild that an MMO style game would just straight up remove that content and make it unaccessible anymore. You know, being the MMO guy, Haru, is that something that is normal?
Um, Normal kind of depends. Content oftentimes in MMOs is released with the expectation that it is there for a limited time. MMOs often play on FOMO for
Mm-hmm.
a large part of their player base. So if you just aren't there for an entire expansion, you're probably not going to be able to go back and get specific rewards from that expansion very easily. But those are always like, those are known quantities, right?
Yeah.
We know that's what's going to happen.
Now,
This
what if
doesn't
I...
sound like that.
No, it doesn't. I think you're right. And one of the things that I will point out here is that they ended up shooting themselves in the foot because they actually got rid of all the as I understand it, they got rid of the source code in a capacity that was playable with any current version of Destiny. And they couldn't even go back and load up an old version of Destiny to play it either, as they had gotten rid of all of it.
I mean, that's just admitting guilt.
Well, they did settle out of court, so...
Right, like you just admitted guilt by deleting that. Like, you're trying to hide evidence.
So specifically, it was filed by a sci-fi writer by the name of Matthew Kelsley. Kelsley Martineau, who had complained that the entire Destiny 2 Red War campaign was, well, at least large elements of it had been copied from his original works. And
Jeez.
yeah, my favorite part about this whole particular version of the lawsuit is that Bungie had to go to YouTube to get content for their legal defenses. So they couldn't even reference original game content. And the courts decided that you could not use YouTube lore videos as supporting evidence.
Oh, man. YouTube lore videos.
Imagine that you make a piece of content, it's accused that it's plagiarized. You have no playable version of it at all, even internally, that you can get access to. Which is wild that you couldn't put one person on it to say, hey, make this work. And so, to defend yourself in court, you have to go pull up some Joe Schmo's lore video. Present it.
Oof. I mean...
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yep. So, yeah, they settled out of court and formally dismissed the lawsuit without costs. The terms are undisclosed. There's a 60-day window to enforce the agreement or reopen it in case something falls through. The Marathon art theft one basically was resolved with Bungie and Sony kind of admitting and giving credit while remaining open to a collaboration. And I assume some money changed hands, probably, considering the artist said it was resolved to my satisfaction.
I mean, that's fair. Hey, if it's resolved to your satisfaction, it's resolved. But
yeah.
at the end of the day, it really seems like they probably just paid you a bunch of money to stop caring.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was probably more money than they would have paid them in the first place to license and use the work.
You're not wrong. Which is the stupid part. Like, these companies think they can just get away with it, and it makes you wonder, how many times have they gotten away with it?
Oh, it's a good question, man. I mean, I don't... Like, the thing here, too, is this wasn't even subtle. Like... I have a lot of the photos in a folder to use for the shorts, so you can take a look at it at some point. But like, it's straight up like, oh, yeah, they just copied this and added it as part of the texture. Like, it was like just back and forth a lot. It was, some of it was so blatantly stripped and ripped off. It's wild.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of them now.
Yeah,
that's super wild.
Like I said, it's not subtle. Like, it's just straight up there to easily be seen.
They're like, oh yeah, that looks good. Paste.
Yeah. And here's the thing: crap. All of this could have gone away. All of, at least the Marathon, the Red War is its own crazy ride. But the Marathon artwork theft could have easily been resolved. Been like, you could have made up some BS where it was like, oh yeah, an artist, added this, didn't let us know where it had come from. Steps have been taken to make sure that doesn't happen in the future. We've reached out the artist to provide compensation for their work that we've put into our game. And this would have been done. It just would have been done and over.
So, you know that they did this, at least in part, with the the understanding of what they were doing, because they rotated and mirrored all of these frickin' images. Sure. That's wild behavior. Like
Yeah.
they obviously didn't drop it in, like pixel for pixel, but it's super freaking obvious on some of these.
Because it's very unique too. Yeah, you can go find the photos yourselves, or if you're watching the short, take a look at those. But like, this is a very unique style. Like, this isn't something where you could even look at it and go, "Yeah, they could have gotten that from a few places." Like, it's a very unique style, which is probably why they used it in their game.
Yeah, I mean, fair, but hey,
But
you want a unique style, get the unique artist.
but that's my point. Is like you could you could have. I don't know. I'm not going to make any accusations. I don't know who actually knew about this, who actually took the artwork. We don't know any of that. But you could have blamed it on an intern or a low-level artist or programmer or whatever,
Right.
and then just bit the bullet and said, "Yep, we're reaching out to the artist to compensate them," and this would have been done. It never had to go this far.
Yeah, very true.
Because I'm sure the artist would have been like, "Yeah, give me a bunch of money and put my name on the credits," and it would have been done and over, and you wouldn't have had to pay lawyers except for the contract.
Yeah, exactly. Which can be written up by a paralegal.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So, so Bungie, along with struggling and having issues, I guess doesn't have to worry about their two separate plagiarism court issues because they are now settled.
Jesus.
Alrighty, moving on to the last portion of Civics and Sociology. This one should be a little quicker. I just think it's silly and ridiculous. But Xbox Wrapped has been canceled, which I'm sure everyone has been seeing on Discord, on YouTube, blah, 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 blah. It's basically the same thing where it's a end of the year kind of customer thing where, talks about the things you've done that year, how much time you spent, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah,
And
it shows you exactly how much data these companies keep on us.
Yeah, I mean, that's
the frickin' reality.
Absolutely do that, yes. But it's also, it's generally a small, fun thing, right? And how much does that realistically cost? Because to your point, they're collecting that data anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
So all you need to do is have a couple people build some sort of algorithm rule that pulls together some of that data and then have it generated into some sort of displayable art piece. And you're done. The overhead here cannot be that high.
No, it can't.
But specifically, the Xbox Wrapped 2025 Recapped has been canceled because they don't have the budget.
I mean, when you only sold 224,000 Xbox Series X and S's, do they really care? Like a lot of these people, they probably are just buying an Xbox because they're used to buying an Xbox when it comes out.
Or they found a weird deal that exists, even despite the price hikes or something.
Or somebody bought it for their 10-year-old for Christmas or something. Like that's kind of the reality, right? So probably no one cares.
Buy RAM and decided to buy an Xbox.
To buy an Xbox. But at that point, buy a PlayStation.
You're not wrong, but maybe they were looking at it in one of the few stores that still carries them.
That's true. I forgot we talked about a bunch of stores dropping Xboxes.
Well, yeah, because they ain't selling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't understand how you don't have a budget for something this small. To your point, it clearly indicates that, they don't really care about it because they're not selling enough. And I guess screw the few consumers that you do have. This doesn't really screw anybody over, to be clear. This is just a small little bit of information. Yeah. I think it's indicating that they aren't as involved with their customers as they used to be. Now, a little bit of context, 2026 is technically the 25th anniversary of Xbox, because 2021 was the original Xbox with the 360 in 2005, right? So 2026 is the 25th anniversary. So there are plans for apparently some sort of major anniversary celebration, as Xbox is 25, Blizzard is 35, Bethesda is 40. We'll see if anything actually happens with any of that.
I mean, I can almost guarantee that Blizzard will do something.
Sure.
Because I know that they did it for 30 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that wouldn't be surprising to me at all. But, I mean, hooray, you're turning 25 and you're dying.
Hey, Xbox can rent a car to get to their grave, I guess.
Oh, man. That's hilarious. Your insurance premiums will go down.
Your insurance premiums will go down. I guess anywhere they can save money is probably...
Yeah, it might help. It might help. That's true. That's true. No, I mean, the reality, though, is that... Is this like the first time that they were going to try and do this?
No, they've done it every year, along with like Sony and Steam and everybody else. They're just not doing it this year.
So you're telling me that between last year and this year, you deleted the algorithm
I don't know.
That automatically, puts all this information together. There's a fancier word for that, but I don't care. Right? that puts all of this information together, and then you just put it up on your server and display it to your user base. Like that's the extent of it, right? Obviously there's more to it, probably.
Yeah, all you have to do is change the 4 to a 5.
Yeah, basically. And it's like it just doesn't seem like you said, it doesn't seem like there's a ton of overhead for this kind of stuff.
Nope.
And
it's just a small little fun consumer thing that apparently they don't have the money for.
Not even just that. Xbox, go to your daddy Microsoft and be like, hey, we'd really like to continue doing this. Please, daddy, give me money.
No. They need Big Daddy's money for the birthday party next year.
For the birthday party. Like, you get one or the other. You either get Xbox Wrapped for 2025 or you get your 25th birthday. That's it.
Yeah, what do you want, kid? Okay. Stepdad isn't made of money. No, I'm just kidding.
Stepdad isn't made of money. Oh, shit. Oh, man. I mean, look, at the end of the day, right, perception on this looks really bad.
Yeah.
Because this is either showing how close to the red they are truly running, if not in the red.
Uh-huh.
Or...
they gotta be in the red.
Yeah, 100%. Or... it's showing how poorly that company is run. Right? Those are the two options. They could either be not running in the red, but ran absolutely poorly. They could be running in the red and be run fine. Or both. They could be running in the red and ran poorly.
4K no los dos.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
But yeah, so... the decline of Xbox still happening. We'll see if they have a big birthday bash paid for by Daddy next year. But outside of that, there's not much more to say on this one. All right.
Agreed.
We'll move on to the second and last segment, lab work. Alrighty. Lab work, taking a look at some of the releases that have happened, and one of them being a title update number 4, a pretty large update for Monster Hunter Wilds. And does this update fix anything, Hero? Any major fixes from here?
So, okay. I did a lot of research because I've been in a gaming slump recently. Where I've been like, oh man, I really want a game to play. I want to play a game, but I don't know what game to play, right? I've done everything in WoW at this point. I don't want to gear another character. I'm so bored, right? And we'll get into Oaken Tower in a minute, but that did take 50 hours of my life, so that was great. But, like, I I did a lot of research because I wanted to know, should I get back on it, right? Here's some congregation of what I've found. So prior, the texture streaming has been terrible. It was absolutely terrible in the way that it was designed. They have improved the texture streaming. They doubled the FPS for people running at high on 5090s. Now, when I say
Randy
doubled,
Pitchford's favorite card?
Now, when I say doubled, I'm talking 30 FPS to 60.
Oh, hey! That's downright playable.
Yeah, barely. And on top of that, they improved frame timings and stuff like that, so there's not a bunch of lag spikes, like actual PC hardware lag spikes rather than internet based. But I've seen some ramblings about the fact that it may have done the opposite for AMD cards.
Well, that's no bueno.
Now, the thing that's pissing off a lot of people is that this is Title Update 4. This is when you said you were going to fix the CPU problems and like GPU problems, right? This is when they said, hey, we're going to have it all fixed by this update. You lied to us.
Our game that you play will be playable by this update.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you lied to us. Plain and simple, you lied to us. And if there is any player base in the world, it is the PC player base that does not take kindly to being lied to.
Nah, people are downright psychotic when you lie to them on PC.
Yeah, they really are. Like, I mean, we're talking about a game that its previous predecessors, I put over 1,000 hours into the last 3 versions of Monster Hunter, right? And I'm talking individually. 1,000 hours in Rise, 1,000 hours in World, 1,000 hours in Gen 4 Ultimate, right? I put thousands of hours into Monster Hunter as a series. For me to have only put in 40 hours is insanity. That's how bad the graphics are.
As many hours into it as I did.
Yes, exactly. And that's how bad the graphics were. And I don't have a weak machine. In fact, I specifically upgraded my PC around the time that Monster Hunter Wilds came out.
Performance, not graphics, right? You're not necessarily saying how it looked. It was the performance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unfortunately, the performance of the graphics equals it looks like shit. Unfortunately.
I'm just for anyone out there that would comment like, oh, well, if I was standing still, it looked good. It was like, it's not literally the general graphics. It was it was hard to play because you couldn't get the performance you needed to out of it.
The frame timing was dog water. The amount of input lag that you would get anytime that your frame timing spiked was insanity. And on top of that, like, some of the choices that they made for some of the weapons is just stupid. And you know that they made mistakes on some of these choices because they have since fixed them.
That's fair.
Like, in Title Update 4, they made a very significant change to the insect glaive to where you didn't have to try and hold down circle to charge your attack in midair while you're trying to control the fucking character flying through the air like a goddamn moth to a flame. Instead, they did it the correct way and made it to where it automatically charges based on number of hits that you have done on the monster. Which
so it's a
not
stacking
only
charge, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So it not only encourages you to play well, it also encourages you to play in the fucking air like you're supposed to as an insect glaive. So, but it's ridiculous to me that they made a change like that in Title Update 4 instead of Title Update 1.
Sure. I
right?
mean,
If
but
it
at
was
least they got to it, right?
sure. I mean, so let me remind everyone of the lifetime, or the life cycle, I should say, of Monster Hunter. So the base game comes out, and then usually a year to 2 years later, the expansion comes out. And the expansion contains Master Rank or G Rank. They usually just call it Master Rank at this point because they have a large Western audience, and it just previously was called G Rank. So generally by the time that comes out, everything should be squared away. But by that time, I've usually put like 700 hours into the game.
Yeah.
And until it gets better, I'm just not willing to even touch it. It's still installed. I still keep it up to date. But I have yet to hit play again.
Unfortunate.
It is unfortunate because I don't even trust Capcom well enough at this point to want to log into their game and run the benchmark. Right? I don't even want to do that yet because from what I've seen, everything online is just more of the same. And again, I don't have a terrible PC. I have a 7800X 3D and a 7900 XT, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 32 gigabytes of RAM. And that 7900 XT is a 16 gig card.
Sure.
Nothing about my PC should struggle on this game. Nothing. It
does.
It far outperforms the recommended on that game. And it's insane to me that their recommended expects you to play at 30 FPS or 60 FPS at 1080p on medium graphics with the recommended. But the recommended is an 8 gig card.
I don't know. I mean, we're still having these problems with the game, right? I mean, and specifically the other thing about this update is those, they literally have made things worse, as you mentioned earlier, with Ryzen and the CPU bottlenecks that they've now introduced.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, combine that with the systems already being ridiculous requirements.
Yeah.
And you've now just made them worse for lower end systems.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly they don't care about those clients. They're taking, I made the joke earlier, but they're taking the Gearbox Randy Pitchford approach, which is the poors get whatever they get. And the people who have the nice equipment will have a playable, maybe a good game.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's it.
Now, here's the really crazy part, okay? We're talking base game, no mods, right?
Sure.
However, there was a mod before Title Update 4 came out that effectively unpacked all of the textures, right? Completely uncompressed them and just downloaded them onto your computer for your hard drive or for your SSD and your CPU and everything to just pull that information directly rather than having to stream and unpack it at the same time. If you take that version of the game and compare it to current, you're talking a 10 FPS difference.
It seems like you should maybe get a little bit more there.
Yeah.
Especially because we're not talking about a 10 FPS difference, with
right.
like a nicer kind of thing where you're like, okay, then yeah, I'm getting up here. You're talking like, oh, I guess I get to go from 45 to 55, which is better, but like still not even close to where it needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. We're not talking 120 to 130 here, right? We're talking from barely playable to slightly less barely playable.
Slightly less barely playable. Oh, that's funny.
Like it's ridiculous. I don't understand. And the reality is that Monster Hunter, the Monster Hunter series, so aka Capcom, has lost my trust and the trust of a lot of PC gamers in general that have been looking forward to when Monster Hunter is released on PC in parity with the consoles.
So, well, I mean, it also struggled a bit on console, but
It did.
let's say we're 4 years from now, and a new Monster Hunter game's coming out, are you buying it day one?
No. I
I
pre-ordered
think we're
this.
kind of into it. Yeah.
I pre-ordered this like half a year in advance.
Nope.
Right? Like, I have tons of pre-order merchandise way off to my left.
And you put less time into it than Oaken Tower.
Yes. Yes. Which was a free-to-play demo. That's insanity to me.
Well, let's kind of move towards talking about that game, because apparently you had a better experience up until the end than Monster Hunter Wilds. Hopefully Monster Hunter Wilds
Gets
the
its
next
shit together.
time around gets its shit together and becomes a better game. I
No.
mean, the Resident Evil series, turned it around, right? Became a better. There's hope. It can happen. Okay, and on the big side, I put this in here. I don't necessarily need to go fully into it, but a Final Fantasy VII remake on the Switch 2 actually looks pretty decent. So, because we've complained about Switch 2 titles in the past, so I kind of put this in here just as an example of someone doing it well. Digital Foundry of YouTube fame, they do a lot of cool kind of tech breakdowns of games. Apparently did some analyzation on the Switch 2 version, and it actually is based off of the PS5 version and not the PS4 version. Which is cool. So it's got things like volumetric fog, enhanced shadows, and better lighting that the PS4 version didn't have. It'll have DLSS upscaling to 1080, which will be a sharper image than the PS4's TAA. And unfortunately, the actual performance overall, while docked, will still be, 30 frames, 1080p. But at least it's based off of a superior version of the game rather than the PS4 version.
I mean,
at least some things look good.
Like, look, people who play on the Switch at this point, I think they're just used to 30 frames, right? Like, they're one of those people who are like, you can't, the human eye can't see more than 30 frames per second anyways. That's the kind of people who still play on the Switch, to be honest with you. Or the type of games that they play on the Switch, they just generally don't care, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those two groups of people. Because I can tell you right now, when I played Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch, I wanted to die. That was the worst experience of my life. Wow, that's kind of
extreme. This game is so terrible. I wish for the sweet release of death and nothingness over playing any more of this game.
Correct.
Let's see. It might be a little bit of an extreme reaction, but I can understand at least the hyperbole. I put this in here because, on one hand, okay, it's based off of the better version of the game. And then on the other hand, you're going, but is it good? Like, even though it's the better version, you're still sitting at using DLSS to get 30 frames at 1080p.
Yeah, it's insanity.
Which is, yeah, I don't like it. This is why, like, I owned a Switch. This is why I did not buy a Switch 2. I mean, there were a few other reasons, but mainly it was like, I'm only ever going to play Nintendo games and old Nintendo games on a Switch. I'm never going to play anything else because there is no reason to play any other titles that are available anywhere else. Hell, I would rather buy an Xbox Series S to play games that are like performance quote unquote games.
Real talk.
Than a Switch. But
real talk. I thought about buying a Next Playground.
Did you?
Yes, I really thought about it. I mean, like, with Demi and the child, right?
Sure.
Like, it would be a fun experience to just play like the three of us. I think it could be interesting.
Yeah, with the room experience, you're not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just put up a giant like TV, on top of our computers and
Yeah.
just play it there. It would be interesting.
No. Next Playground or MetaQuest?
Still probably next Playground.
For you, probably.
Yeah.
But what about for him?
I'd rather sit and play on a Switch, to be honest.
Well, there's your audience, I guess.
To be clear, he's not getting a Switch too.
Oh, the original Switch. Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought after this whole discussion, yeah, well, he'd prefer to play games on the Switch.
He would, but that's because, I mean, he's 6. What do you expect?
That's fair. I mean, if he had his hands on an Ally, would that be the thing that he played on, or is it specifically because it's a Switch?
He would probably play on an Ally.
Okay.
I think the clunkiness of it would be a problem, though.
I mean, you could Steam big box mode ain't bad.
Yeah,
as long as you get
fair.
past that and get into it.
Yeah, which I think he would figure out.
I think he can, especially with you around.
Please no.
No, you know it. You're IT for the whole fam. All right. Moving on to the last segment, and specifically Haru's segment, Independent Study. All right, Haru. What has been occupying your time as if I didn't already know?
As if you didn't already know. Gotta explain like you're 5. Alrighty. So, Demi and her entire community brought me onto a game called Oaken Tower. Okay. Let me explain the game real quick. It is
Explain away.
It is an auto battler.
Okay.
That has a bunch of different items, and it's asynchronous multiplayer. This is actually the first asynchronous multiplayer game I've ever played.
I was gonna say I don't remember you playing anything else.
Yeah. So it's actually like really, really interesting in the fact that you have a shop phase and then you have a battle phase. And you go through and like whatever you purchased in the shop, you put it in your tower, and then you send it at the other people and pray that it works, right? You have 10 lives. You have to win 10 times. The first couple of days, you only lose 1 heart. The next couple of days, you lose 2 hearts. And then the final days from 5 to 14, you lose 3 hearts, right? So while you have 10 hearts, you realistically only have, I want to say it's 9 days total if you just lose constantly.
So if you suck.
Yeah, pretty much. So the game has a ranked system. It goes, freaking bronze, silver, gold, blah, 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 all the way to Grandmaster, right? You get Grandmaster at 2,000 ranking, which is not a lot. When I uninstalled the game, I had 11,000. And the top person in the world has over 3 million. Now, what this actually means, because it is not hard to get 3 million, it is strictly a time investment. Once you have gotten to the point of winning, right, it is strictly a time investment. If you get 5 trophies, so 5 wins, you do not lose anything, right? You don't lose rating. For every trophy past that, you gain rating. At a maximum of 10 trophies, you gain 100 rating. So what this actually means is that this guy played at least 300,000 games.
Whoa. That's a lot of games.
Yes, it is. Because that's the math, right? You take 3 million and divide it by 100, you get, I guess it's 30,000, but we're going to, whatever. But that's assuming you get 10 wins every single time, which sometimes you just don't. Now, I really did enjoy this game quite a bit. It's very enjoyable. It had a lot of interesting, unique interactions with everything that made things really cool. And it was simplistic enough. It was very brain off, but like enough that I could still be kind of thinking about it, right?
Hmm.
Now, let's talk about the problem. So, the problem that I had is that eventually I realized I was playing an entirely different game than everybody else. The top end of this game plays a vastly different game than everyone else, because the top end starts buying gold generating items and things like that for like the first 3 to 5 days. And they are effectively playing with triple the amount of gold that you have if you didn't get any gold making items. So, right, exactly. Now, items range from 15 to 60 gold, right? And at level 1, you gain 45 gold, just baseline, right? That's how much you get. That's your allowance, right? And then that goes up by 5 to 10 based on your level as you level up. And you can spend gold to level up, similar to the way that you can in Teamfight Tactics.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting. I like it. It's fun. However, one night I was trying to intentionally stay up late to play, to do work later that night, right?
Okay.
And I'm sitting there playing, and I'm playing, and I'm like, I run into this guy, right? Remember, it's asynchronous, so it's not active and live. But I run into this guy's build where he is just invincible, right? And my brain at that time of night has a habit of just going down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
In fact, I do some of my best like programming at night.
Going down a rabbit hole. I mean, yeah,
Yes,
that's fair.
which is wild to me. So I started going down this rabbit hole, and I'm like, okay, how did he get to that point? And I started playing more games with the intention of getting to that point. I lost a couple, right? Meaning got less than 5 trophies, with the intention of trying to figure this out. And then eventually I got to the point where I was completely invincible and had infinite gold. So there's an item called the Cursed, it's a 3 combination item. Cursed Necklace, Night Quill, and Cursed Garnet. Okay? The Cursed Garnet, what happens is it gives you 2 dark items, meaning the tagged dark, at the start of combat. The Night Quill makes your start of combat items trigger twice. The Cursed Amulet makes your start of combat items trigger every time it triggers.
Okay.
So the first round, I ended with 16 dark items in my inventory. The round after that, I ended with 50 dark items.
Okay.
The round, and mind you, all of these items, a lot of these are legendaries, right? They're between rare and legendary, so they're selling between 20 and 35 gold, right? If I don't intend on equipping them, I'm just selling them to the shop, and I'm getting their like half of their value back, right? This is why I said I had infinite gold. The next round after that, I ended, and I counted because there's a little tick mark on the stupid Cursed Garnet. 190 dark items.
Oh, wow.
So the lowest value that you can sell anything for in this game is 8. 8 times 190 is still 1,500.
I mean, that seems like a good number.
Yes. That's assuming you get all common rarity items, which I didn't. So this is why the game that I ended up playing by the end of it was entirely different, and I lost interest. It sucks.
That does
because all of a sudden the game was no longer this fast-paced, pick what the shop gives you type thing. It was, now I have infinite gold, I just roll until I get what I want, right? You can re-roll the store, and you just roll infinitely until you get what you want. And it doesn't really matter that the re-roll price goes up after you roll it like 10 times or something like that, because like you have infinite money, so who cares? It doesn't matter if it goes up to 10, 20, 30 when it starts at 3. You're like, okay, who cares? I have 1,500 minimum after that round.
100,000.
So it got tedious, right? Because to do builds like that, it was no longer you have X number of gold to play with, and you have to find a way to mash all these freaking items that they happen to have given you together and, crop up some random build. Instead, now it's find the best build, right? Do the math on the best build, create a gold making build, and then when you get to the point that you have enough gold, re-roll until you get that build.
So what you're saying is min-maxers ruin the game for you?
I mean, I'm a min-maxer, right? The thing that ruined the game for me is the ability to just min-max into oblivion. Because the idea behind min-maxing is you maximize with minimum effort, right? You maximize your power with a minimum amount of effort. Right? It's optimization, effectively.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's other versions of min-maxing.
Sure.
But sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that I would see min-maxing in this game would be you're picking the best, most efficient items for what you see available. And that would have been an amazing and very enjoyable game. But the problem is that some people don't really read stuff. They just start clicking on things and putting them in and praying it works. So if you do any amount of reading, you're going to get to Grandmaster pretty fast.
Okay.
Right? Because it only takes like 20 games, if that, to get to Grandmaster. Because you get like 150 at the lower ranks, like 150 rating, and you only need 2,000. But once you get above that, you start facing the people who are at 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 3 million, right? I've faced some of the top guys, some of their builds. And every time I face them, I'm just like, this isn't enjoyable. Because 9 times out of 10, the strongest build in the game is a protector shield build, where effectively you just infinitely trigger a protector, which a level 2-star protector, which gets rid of 80%, might be 60% of debuffs that you have on you, right? So poison, fire, bleed, 60% of whatever is on there, gone. And this thing triggers every 10th of a second.
Jeez.
So it's like, what am I supposed to do to that? And then the second problem comes down to, why do those builds work, right? They do 0 damage, so why do they work? Well, the reason that they work is because there's a burnout mechanic in the game. If a game starts lasting too long, a timer starts going, and once that timer hits 0, ramping fire ticking damage starts hitting both players, right? Well, the problem is that doesn't go through shield. It doesn't ignore shield. So they're sitting there, and by the time that it ends, they have 3 million shield. And you're sitting there with a lowly 30,000 health, and you're like, I mean, I'm just not going to win.
Yeah.
right? You've done actually 0 damage to me. The arena effectively did all of the damage to me. You did
Oh
nothing.
yeah.
You shouldn't
That's
be able to win like that, in my opinion.
I mean, that's definitely more exploit than like,
You would think
outsmarting a
so.
teammate or kind of grind like a legit grind to
Yeah.
get good gear. Yeah, just it feels more like an exploit because of
Right.
how it's working out.
And it's an auto battle or kind of roguelike type scenario, right?
Sure.
Because like every time you play, you start with an empty tower, right? And you just buy items from the shop and so on and so forth. And it just became tedious at the end of the day because it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't about, what did this shop give me? How many times can I roll on my limited income? So on and so forth. It's how much gold do I need to guarantee that I'll get what I want? And then I just sell everything and roll it over and over again until I get it. So now I'm spending 10 to 15 minutes in a shop phase that usually when I was originally playing, when I was a lowly nobody, that took 30 seconds, right? Now I'm sitting here in a shop phase, the least interesting part of the game, for 10 to 15 minutes. It's not enjoyable.
I was gonna say that doesn't sound very fun.
Now,
Unless
Shield
you're
is
playing trading card shop simulator, but
sure. But that's literally what you're going for in that scenario. So that's like the problem that I had. So after that night, I went to bed extremely disappointed after doing the work and very
Understandably so.
frustrated. It's kind of like finishing that really good anime and like you finish the last episode and you're just like, fuck, I feel empty now.
Yeah, I was like,
It's
I wish
like
I had
that.
more. I need something to replace it.
Yeah, it's exactly like that, except for instead of that, the last episode was season 8 of Game of Thrones. Right? Like, that's exactly what it was.
Sure.
So,
Uh,
like, it's
or
one of those...
continuing with the anime reference, it was the ending of an anime where they just made up because they couldn't follow the manga because they didn't have enough.
So most of them?
Hey, they've been pretty good the last few years.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, definitely. But
yeah, so like Shield is extremely broken for that reason because it just relies on the burnout mechanic. I think if they introduced a different mechanic, it would be more interesting. The second problem comes down to you can make shields do damage. So every time they trigger, despite the fact that it's a shield, it somehow puts poison on you or it somehow does damage to you. So now you have both defense and offense in a single item. I think they should stop something like that. And instead, like, yeah, you can have a shield buff a combat item, like an attack item, but it shouldn't be an attack item and a defense item all in one. You should have to balance that. And I honestly think they should just remove gold items from the game entirely. Like, there is no reason that you should ever be able to generate more gold than the game has provided to you.
okay. I mean, I'll have to take your word for it.
Yeah,
but,
I know. I don't know, man. I like I said, I put 50 hours into this thing. I loved the hell out of it. It was very enjoyable. There are other games that are out there like it, but this one was just simple enough that I didn't have to keep brain on at like mythic rating level. And it was just complex enough that it satisfied that weird ADHD tick that I have in video games. And it's a roguelike, effectively, right? Like, realistically. So it just sends you on this like gameplay loop, and it was very fun. But enough of that. I
had a suggestion for you, but
okay.
I'd have to find it because I played the crap out of it, but it was a really good roguelike, and I actually suggested it to one of my friends who loved it. I don't know.
Can you describe it?
No.
No.
Yeah, so you get a character archetype, right? And then hold on. There it is, God of Weapons.
A lot of
So,
weapons.
yeah, you might actually thoroughly enjoy this. So, you have a character archetype that gets certain types of buffs, right? And then you're in between rounds, because it's like kind of like a bullet hell
Mm-hmm.
level. And then in between rounds, you get access to a shop, which you can buy more weapons or buy modifiers for weapons.
You put them in
And
your backpack.
you only get a certain space on the backpack, which depending on how well you do at the level, you can get more spaces for your backpack depending on how well you do.
Yep,
And
that it looks pretty similar, minus
yeah,
the PvP aspect, right? Like this is
well, yeah, there is no
more.
PvP here, but I
Yeah,
did
this is PvE, but
thoroughly
what hell?
enjoy this. This was a lot of fun. So if you're looking for something, I don't know what it is currently on the Steam sale, but it's cheap.
$3.
Is it 30?
3.
3? Yeah, I would highly at $3. I think you'll get $3 worth of content out of it.
Fair enough.
Uh,
I'll definitely give it a shot. It looks like it came out 2 years ago.
yeah, I've my other friend and I have definitely enjoyed it. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's fair.
Alrighty, well, unless you have more on your soapbox.
Oh, I could go for hours.
I think we can probably end it there.
Agreed.
Alrighty, people. Close those books, pack your bags, and if you ship off a GPU for it to get RMA'd, make sure you pack it well and you document absolutely everything, because you will get screwed over. Well, we hope you enjoy your time off and look forward to your participation next time. Peace.
See ya.